Before we begin the video, I just want to show you we have these elm trees for sale, Chinese lacebark elm. It's well implemented, it's easy to maintain. After you clip a few times, it will become quite a magnificent tree that's for your liking. Please go to our website. Now you can order it directly from there. Let's continue with the video. Hi, I'm Miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. I like to work on this Hokkaido Elm as part of the bonsai tour. In some sense, to give you a sense of what I have to go through to prepare for the bonsai tour. I would say minimum about the tree, because that's not the focus this time, and the history of the tree, but more focus on the clipping technique during the spring, after the spring flush of growth. In this case, you can see it's grown tremendously like this. Look at that, how long it's grown since March. There was nothing on this tree at the beginning of March. And so there's not much to study to work on the roots because it's already in a bonsai pot. But you have to study a little bit to remind yourself the design goals and then start clipping. And as usual, you clip from the top down. And this is a very good material. I was surprised that I thought Hokkaido elm must be Japonicum, almost Japonicum. But when I check it, the Hokkaido elm in Hokkaido, Japan, is actually called Ulmus parvifolia, same as the other parvifolia that we sell. So I don't think you should take the names too seriously, like Japonicum may very well come from China. In fact, a lot of the bonsai material from Japan originated from China, but who cares, Okay, so let me start working on this tree. So basically, you can see it's a double trunk. There's a taller one and a bottom one. And one of the caution about clipping is that you tend not to clip off the top growth because it seems so luscious and green. It's a shame to cut it. But if you're not careful, the apex start to get taller and taller, let's say 1 inch every year. It adds up in a hurry. So you really have to make sure you cut back the apex low. And one of the misconceptions, the apex is single top. It is not. For mature trees, generally it's a whole bunch of top growth, and that gives it a canopy look. So with that in mind, then, let me start by working from the top down by clipping the very top apex. That's fairly important, and one of the mistakes I made is I hate to clip them, and then I have to wind up doing major re-clipping to shape it, which means almost like restarting a bonsai. And then what you all at the same time as you cut it is that you pull off the growth below where you clip it, and like this, you see, you can have multiple top to create a canopy, and so that's what I'll do, rather than try to make it into a single canopy. At the same time, I don't want to be too dense. And I might add that some of the bigger cuttings, some of the bigger branches, I'll actually root. I've done that for many years now. So soon I will have these good, very desirable cork elm material for sale. In fact, somebody asked me for cork elm because she couldn't find it where she is, and I promised her I'll find her one to make one for bonsai for her as a special favor because she bought a tree from us. I really appreciate getting the orders from you all. I value you as a customer, and I want you to and I want to take good care of you so you become repeat customer and we become kind of, in some sense, friends. So that's all I would do to the top, aside from thin it off a little bit. Oh, I pull off too much. Oh well, it will grow back. Again, never fear. And since this is now more or less coming this way, I want more branching to grow that way. So I will clip off here and here to encourage growth that way to balance it off. Again, you can make no mistakes. You can always compensate for what you did not quite right. I avoid the word mistake. And again, you kind of peeling and pruning at the same time to thin it off so you can see the tree. And you thin off some branches because, like the old guy said, imagine you think letting the birds fly through so that it's not too dense, because you want air to go through to refresh the growth and also give it more of a look of the silhouette rather than. So you do a quick pruning and then you go back and prune it again, and you clean it up as you go, thin it out as much as you can so it's not cluttered. So that branch is done. It's that quickly, actually. You just keep working yourself well down. It doesn't take much time to really do the tree, even though it's very full. So please bear with me. At the end, you can see the tree will be fairly bare, but you can see the shape very clearly. And then what I would do is I will show you in about 3 months time frame to give you the tour again as an update. I think that's how you learn to see how trees progress, so you're not afraid to cut too much or something like that. So you have to look at this branch, so you don't want this branch to go too far. You're trying to thin it off to show the structure of the tree. Like this tree, this branch is bumping into this, so I cut it so that they don't bump into each other. Okay, now that tier is actually done aside from that back one. So let me finish off that. You see, I didn't use even guy wire, but usually just cut off the ones that are growing up so that the branch will be pointing down instead of wiring it to change. I think wiring is very time consuming, and the clipping has the advantage that where you cut it, it creates a little turn of the branch to give it the aged look. So like this branch, you can see it's growing up, bumping into that. I could wire it like most bonsai folks will wire it. I'd rather not. I'd rather just cut it. Maybe I have two choices. I can cut it a little ways up, let this one come up, and then it will come out and then branching out this way. And then this is the lower branch. I think that's nice. Right now it looks terrible because there's nothing there, but trust me, in about, this one probably 6 weeks or so, you will have a nice growth coming up. And a month later, the new growth will be probably 6 inch to 8 inch long. And like this one is going up, whereas you want it to go down. So what you do is say you do this, right? So there's no more out of line growth. So that's how you use the clip and grow. So this will look terrible because that's just a dead branch. But again, you will have a nice pad here to hide this hole. And so that's a kind of a consideration. Do the pruning with a little bit of a foresight in terms of, so for example, this branch here, it's kind of hidden under this one. So theoretically, that's kind of like charging off. And yet this branch here is very thin. I want something to grow this way. So what I do is I will cut back this one, for now only here, so that it will force more growth that way and less growth this way. Eventually this will be thickened, then I'll cut this part off. In fact, because what's underneath the branch has the shade that it will never quite grow, right? Okay, so the top branch is done, so let me go to the next tier. So you can see the bottom one grows far less vigorous because it's shaded by the top. So I will cut this short, let it grow out a little shorter little squatty. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video so far. We got a lot more going on. This is about halfway. Please click like if you like my content, and subscribe to our channel, tell a friend, and more importantly, go to our website and sign up to become a VIP for goodies. Well, might as well get the work done this way first rather than go all around without having to turn the tree or walk around it. So you can see each branch is kind of like spread out, and you don't want to lose sight. One of the things you have to remember is the rough outline of the shape so that you don't get carried away when you cut it. You lose sight of where you're going with it. So in this case, this is the triangle. So this one to be about this length, and this actually want to be a little longer. So I want to cut back as little as possible to make this branch grow longer to create the triangle. Not a terribly steep triangle, but nonetheless a triangle. So when it's the second branch, you're kind of wanting to have apex of its own. As the tree gets away, you know, everybody wants to be the boss. And so it will eventually have something of a top of its own. And so you want to be cognizant of that. So like this one is going back far too much to the other side. So I will try to, the only branch coming out is this way. So I cut off the one that's going, bumping into it exactly head on, but a little bit turned to the side. Oh, that's okay. Every time I pull, sometimes I pull off too much, but it will come right back. In 6 months, I have plenty of branch to work with. So this branch coming this way, you know that's not right, so cut it. Always kind of go in the overall direction it wants to go. And you're trained by nature to like that because that's how trees grow. And over the years, you learn that's what it looks, what a tree does, and that's what makes it look good, even though it may not be the absolute best, but nonetheless, you're used to it. And so like this one, it's in a way kind of nice to have coming a little jog. So I make this the little sub-apex. Right, then I don't need the bottom one. So it's that kind of a consideration. You add a little vignette to it, that over time it will become a beautiful tree, that you appreciate all the thoughts that went into it when you exhibit it eventually, because all these will be showing up as your features. And they didn't get there by themselves, but rather you created it. Now, this one is underneath of that, so it should not grow so vigorously. So I ended here, so this has become the little sub-apex, and this will be coming up and then go down to create a little pad. I think that would be nice. So you always kind of figure out what the tree would do following light, and that's how they grow. That is totally directed by the light. So if this is the apex coming up, in this case, there's nothing growing up, but nonetheless, this is a high point. So if I cut it here, it's quite possible this will come up and then this goes down. I think something will come up here to go up, so that will be okay. And then this one, this branch is underneath of that branch, therefore it has to go because it will die off eventually for not getting enough light. So this branch really is kind of like everything's that direction. I'd rather have something growing out this way. So I cut it here, hopefully it will grow out, and to give that side a little bit more. So, you know, you try to look at how the light would encourage the tree to grow. Like this one is going backwards, and so you want it to come out this way, so you grow this way to make it look kind of an interesting curve going in and come on back out. Okay, this is actually almost halfway done. You can see this is pretty much the front. Now I will work on the back. Now this is kind of the middle. You can see this branch is coming up nicely, and this branch is coming down, also going up. So I try to bend it a little bit, and then try to work on this branch. In fact, I'll work on this side to show you the thought process behind it. Like this branch is coming back, so I rather not. So now you can see this branch, instead of coming back this way, it's now going this way. That's much more aligned with where it's positioned. It should be seeking out light this way, not to bump into this one. And then this one, of course, it's shading this one. So I have to be a little cognizant of that. I don't think I need a very big branch here. So maybe I'll cut it off here, let it shoot out. And this looks a little bit bare now, but it will be a branch going this way, filled out, and then this hole fill out without overshadowing the bottom too much. So these are little thought process. I may not be right, and the tree will have its own mind, and to tell me it'd rather grow the other way by sending off a long branch in some other direction. I can honor that and respect that, and try to take advantage of its own growth to maintain some differentiation between trees rather than every one of my trees looks alike. So each branch, it seemed like I'm cutting up mindlessly, but actually some thoughts is given to it to make sure the buds are going the right direction, to give me the look of the desirable look a little bit later. This is a kind of from that side, it's kind of a triangle. The bottom need to be a little farther away. So I'll keep some of the branches a little bit longer. That means, again, don't lose sight of where you're going with a tree. I'm almost done. Just one little branch, I'm essentially done. You can see this is my cork elm double trunk that was way overgrown after the spring flush of growth. And I want to show you how what I do for the spring clipping so that you can do your own clipping. So in short, what I've done is that I start from the top, making sure I don't let the apex grow too high to keep the design, and then just work my way down, clipping all the excess growth. And one other thing I can do is that I don't think I need to do it, but I can show you how to do it, is that for some trees, deciduous trees, I can pull all of the leaves off. Just like this branch, I can peel every leaf off from the last growth, flush of growth. And then what happens is that in about 4 weeks, new buds will come out, and then you can further pick off all the old leaves. And the next thing you know is that every tree on those leaves is a fresh new spring leaves. It's really, really beautiful. And that's what you do for a bonsai show. You clip them, you defoliate it so that the new leaves coming out will be exactly, I'll show you what happened to my trident maple, which I did the clipping about 4 weeks ago, and I want to show you how much has grown since later in the garden tour. So again, you work the way down. Don't lose sight of the overall design, the triangle, because you have a tendency of clipping, shaping the branches, and pretty soon you cut off too much. So you really want to maintain the triangle and also maintain the three-dimensionality. You can see this tree is way up front, and these trees are in the back. The depth is this much, the width is this much, and then the height. And that's why you want to create the the look of a natural tree in nature. And that's the whole point about bonsai, is to simulate nature, not to be arbitrarily creating a craft that conforms to your conception of a bonsai. Well, thank you very much for watching today's video. Subscribe to our channel and tell a friend. And most importantly, go to our website and sign up to become our VIP so that we can send you announcements of special considerations. Thank you very much. See you next week.